Co-working show. I'm glad you guys are back and here again, and yeah, assume you guys liked the first co-working show where we talked about the whole history of the co-working trips of JoinMyTrip, about my journey of how to become a co-worker or digital nomad. And yeah, as you can see, the setting has changed a bit. So now we are not anymore in sunny Portugal. We are in Germany in a Christmas setting because it's Christmas in a few days. And yeah, this is why also the topic today is gonna be a bit in this direction. So the main topic of today's show is gonna be about how to find the perfect co-working buddy, and then also how to make sure that with those co-working buddies you have a great time on Christmas, in case you are somewhere over the Christmas holidays and also maybe New Year's, and how to make sure that you have a good time and you can also connect with other digital nomads or remote workers in the area. And yeah, those are the basically main two topics that we will talk about. For those the ones that are new and have not listened to the first episode of this show, yeah, my name is Anna, and I'm working for JoinMyTrip, and this show is supposed to be the top one show for all the digital nomads, remote workers, and co-workers out there, all the ones that want to become any of these. So yeah, JoinMyTrip is a platform where you can find travel buddies to join any of your trips, or you can find any trip and just join a great trip that you want to, and then have a good time with all the other travel buddies. And our new type of trip is the co-working trip, because we realized that due to the pandemic, a lot of companies switched to home office and that people are now able to work from anywhere in the world. This is why we started those co-working trips. And yeah, I have been on one in Portugal. That's what my last show was about. And today it's going to be all about how to find the perfect co-working buddy on JoinMyTrip. So maybe let's start with the basics. So when you, let's say, okay, you say, okay, I want to do a co-working experience, I want to plan a trip, how to get started. Of course, first of all, you want to make sure that you have a good location, that you find a nice house with enough rooms and with enough space to work from. About this whole type of destination and how to find the perfect house, I will talk about it in another episode, so stay tuned. But now it's just going to be of how to find the perfect co-working buddies. So what for me, I think was the most important, to set the right expectations. So when you think about yourself working, let's say, in Portugal or Canary Islands or wherever, think about what are your goals for this whole stay. So for me, what was super important is that my trip or my travel buddies or my co-working buddies have the right or have the same workload or the same working style as I do have. Because for me, what is super important is that I have I can concentrate really good. I'm usually not working 8 hours, so I tend to work a bit more, which is what is important. If you have travel buddies that are just there, they just want to, go to the beach and not really work, then you have to see if that will actually match. So in case you are a person that wants to really work a lot and is usually working more than 8 hours, make sure that your co-workers are also having the same work style. And then what is also important is that, of course, for the working hours, you also need to make sure that they're kind of aligned, because I remember I had some people joining for my or requesting to join for my co-working trip that were teachers in South America, so their working times would have been super different from my working time. So they would have worked basically in the evenings, which makes it hard if you have one or two persons that are actually starting their day working at 3 p.m. and you finish around 6-7 p.m. Then it might be hard to make sure that you are also having can spend time together and enjoy the house, because then people start cooking and be loud, but the other ones want to concentrate. So those are all things that you need to keep in mind when you start choosing your travel buddies or co-working buddies, and also yeah, when you talk to them. And then of course, make sure that what types of work does the person have. So for example, let's say if a person is a salesperson and is basically on calls the whole day doing sales calls, you might want to make sure that for this person you make sure that you have a separate room where this person can make the calls, because otherwise people might be distracted. Of course, it's fine if you have 1, 2, 3, 4 calls a day, then you can always match with one goes to the living room, one goes to the kitchen. But yeah, if there's one person that has basically calls all day, just make sure that this person has a room where he or she can work properly. And yeah, what I did then, so when I published my trip on Join My Trip, people started sending me requests to join the trips. Then I said, okay, I asked them questions that for me were important. So I thought, okay, so I asked the persons, what are you working as? What is your working style? What are your working hours? What do you do in your free time? How do you travel usually? Those were things that for me were important. Of course, I think for every trip leader that will organize a co-working trip, those questions might vary, but for me that was important because as I said before, it's important that you have the same kind of expectations. For me, what was also important is that my co-workers might have skills that we can share like between each other. So I made sure that we have a lot of different types of persons, so techies, marketeers, salespeople, content writer, so that we were able to share our knowledge. This was important for me, but maybe there are some people that are just like, okay, I just want to, get my work done, and I'm not really interested in, let's say, growing my business or, getting better and whatever. This is also fine because there might be some people, but just make sure that you for yourself set your expectations about what exactly you want to achieve and you want to have from your coworkers, and then make sure that you, share those expectations with your trip mates that apply to join your trip. Because at the end, you're the trip leader and you are the one picking who is going to join your co-working trip, so you can decide what kind of persons you want to have. So then when what I usually did, I texted with them, and then I said, okay, for me it was important to hop on a call. Because for me, it's usually like when you talk to people, you can just have the feeling, and you realize, okay, are you getting along good or bad? Usually you can do that in a call. I would also recommend video call because I think this is even a bit more personal than just a phone call, but it depends on what you want. And then usually after the call, in the call you just discuss like the last details. What for me was always super important, just before the trip, to make sure everybody's aligned, discuss like what kind of costs are coming, how you're going to split the cost, how it's going to be, so that in the end everybody knows what page he or she is on. And then of course, when you're looking for your perfect co-working buddy, you should also just check out what are the hobbies of the person. Maybe there are some hobbies that you can share. Maybe you both go running, or maybe some do yoga, or maybe you want to learn yoga, or maybe somebody's into hiking. Just make sure if your hobbies might align, because you are working, but you also have a lot of free time. So you might also spend your weekends together, and maybe it's nice if you kind of like have the same expectations also about the weekend and about your travel style and whatever. So these are my main tips of like how to make sure to find the co-working buddies. For me, the main thing, it's all about your expectation. Expectation management is like the one and only, the top one. And talking about expectations, I would love to jump into the little like next topic. So in case you plan a co-working trip during New Year's or like over the holidays, you also want to make sure, of course, that your co-working buddies fit, like you're the right persons to kind of like maybe spend the holidays with. So of course, in the destination, you can also get in touch with other co-workers or remote workers or experts, digital nomads, and there are tons of places where you will get in touch with them. So there are Facebook groups, there are meetups, there are sometimes also like papers somewhere where events are happening. Usually there are WhatsApp groups where a lot of people have already gathered and stuff. So there are a lot of ways of getting into touch with other digital nomads. So you might want to get in touch with them and see if you can maybe share Christmas Eve together, or cook a dinner together, or spend the holidays or whatever. So this is something I think you want to make sure that, I know that a lot of digital nomads or remote workers tend not to just go home for Christmas. They prefer spending their Christmas days, like the holidays, or even New Year's somewhere under the palm tree, which I don't think is a bad idea. But I can imagine that you will far away from home, so you want to make sure you're surrounded by people that you like and that you have good vibes and you can just have a good time together, although you're not at home as I am with an amazing Christmas tree celebrating Christmas with your family and friends. But yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody will get connections in the destination. And of course, what you could also do, if you say, okay, I'm at the moment doing co-working, let's say somewhere on the Canary Islands, what you can also do, just plan a little Christmas trip, you know, just think about, okay, maybe let's rent a bit nicer house or somewhere else on an island, or hop to the next island and just rent an amazing, like a cute little, whatever, like cottage or whatever, and then publish the trip on Join My Trip. Let's find people to join your little Christmas excursion to just get out of the usual work life, whatever. Celebrate the Christmas day with your new family in your co-working destination. And yeah, this is also a thing that you could do. And yeah, just maybe for you guys to have a bit more insights about why you should use Join My Trip to, or what are the advantages of Join My Trip using planning your trip or your co-working trip. Of course, we always, as a community, or also our whole team will support you while planning your trip. We will help you to promote your trip, to get in touch so that a lot of trip mates will apply for your trip. And we will make sure that you find a lot of really, really amazing co-workers or travel buddies, whatever you're searching for. The most important is, of course, also like, once you know, okay, I want to travel with this person, I want to travel and work with this person. Once people confirm via Join My Trip, they are committed, and it's not like they will back off in the end. Of course, you can find co-workers in Facebook groups, you can find co-workers on forums, you can find co-workers on WhatsApp groups, but they might not be as committed as you want them to. And imagine you book a house, you book a villa, and you pay all the money, and then in the end they all back off. This is something you don't want to happen. And this is why that's the advantage of our platform. When somebody confirms through Join My Trip, you know that they will actually be committed and they will travel with you. And this is something that, for me personally, it helped me a lot when I planned my co-working trip, because I knew that once a trip mate has confirmed and I confirmed the trip mate, that my trip is actually going to happen and I will have enough people to split the cost and to share the experience with. Yeah, so this was basically my tips from my experience on how to find the perfect co-working buddies and how to make sure that you have a great experience abroad and that you can get the most out of it. Next series sessions are going to be about the perfect location, how to get the most out of it in terms of like skill sharing, what you can do, and there are a lot of other topics that I want to talk about with you on my little co-working show. Let's see in which setting we're going to be next time. Yeah, I hope you have a good time, a good day, wherever you are in the world. I hope you enjoy also the second co-working show. If you haven't done so, what else you can do on YouTube? Subscribe to our channel, put a thumbs up. Also check out our other social media pages. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have LinkedIn, we have Twitter, we have Snapchat. Check us out. See what our community is doing, where they are, what they do. And if you have any questions, just send me an email or send me a WhatsApp, whatever you wish, at anna@joinmytrip.com. And I hope to see you in the next show as well. Have a great day and greetings from Germany. And yeah, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.